Good evening, good afternoon to everyone that is joining me tonight. Once again, I want to welcome you back to another episode of Embrace It in the Community podcast. Thank you so much for joining me. And as always, I always start off with talking about a subject matter that's very dear to my heart, which is suicide prevention. I am a big advocate for that, being a veteran. And so I just want people to know that when you share this or someone that might be listening, you are not alone. You're not suffering alone. We all have some time of mental health issues, and getting the proper treatment and getting the proper counseling will help with. By all means, if you are considering or thinking about committing suicide, please stop and call 988, which is the suicide hotline number. All right, thank you. So I want to get that out the way, and then I want to mention something about. I put a link in my page about the Embrace T-shirts and caps and mugs. So click on the link and support what I'm trying to do here. I'm just trying to really build up the message and open up the avenue for everybody to join in and represent when it's shirt or a mug or cap. And if you get one, please take a picture of it and share it with me on my page. I would like for that so much, just to see that. So I put a link in this morning. If you don't see it, inbox me and let me know, and we'll take a look at it, okay? And I'll make sure that you'll get also an additional 15% discount on that as well. Also, I just want to take a moment of silence and pay respect to those that lost their lives this past Wednesday, the 29th, on American Eagle Flight 5342. And the reason why I'm doing this is because my daughter is a flight attendant with Delta. And so when I heard this tragic happen, it hit home. It hit home. So join me. I just want to give a moment of silence for those that we just lost. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm excited about tonight, and here's why. I probably see another beautiful face on the camera, which is my sister in love, Brianna Charlton. She is, I can't even talk too much about her because she's just someone. I lost my brother back in 2012, was it, sis? And so, they moved here to Texas, to be close, and my niece JL. So I want to welcome her in tonight. So please, y'all put your hands together and welcome her on. Say hi, Bree.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much, Reese, for having me on tonight.
Absolutely.
Super excited to be here with you.
Yeah. And we got a good topic tonight that you've been talking about on your page, and it touched me so. And the title of it's allowing our children space. And so, and doing this, it's coming from when I grew up as a kid, and what I had to go through when we thinking we had space in the house. This is my house. You do what I say. You go when I say, you breathe when I say breathe, and that was it. And that was how we were raised. And I'll say it was a bad thing, but I'm not going to say it was a good thing. We learned a lot of core values and respect. And I get it because my parents didn't know any better. That's how they were. That's how they were raised. The respect. Remember, we had to leave the room when they were talking. We couldn't even close our bedroom door. Everything had to be open so they can hear or come upstairs and dig and search and see whatever they wanted to see. And I think we had more fear in our parents than fear of God because of I know my mom, Martha, and I don't know if my brother ever told you, but Martha was no joke, so she had a shoe that she can, like a boomerang. It would come up the steps and make a U-turn and still hit me in the head when I'm trying to run away from her. But anyway, moving forward now, we're in a total different generation. So as parents, we have to make sure our kids are safe. kids are safe and healthy, I would say, is the main purpose of what we're still trying to incorporate and love and nurture. So, Brianna, you had a great message that you put on your page, and I was really just touched because anything on my baby JL, I'm super, super excited, as an uncle, and I love her to death. So, and I got my son on, he's listening as well. So I got 6 grands there, and then Tatiana has one. So it's a different generation, even from even
Yes.
JL growing up. Now that generation there that they're raising them, I'm trying to sit and watch and listen. Like I said, there's sometimes I back old school. I'm like, what, what did they? How come they're not moving when their mom just said do such and such, and we had to move? So, Runa, you made a good message on yours. Tell us about it. Talk to us about what you said on yours.
Absolutely. So let me just start out by saying I totally relate to what you were talking about in terms of how we grew up. And my parenting style initially was that authoritative style, right? So I came up,
Hmm.
my mom and dad, whatever they said, you did. There's no questioning, there's no back talk. It's
Right,
obey me. And if you don't, then you face the consequences, which was either a
right.
spanking back then when it wasn't a big deal, or you get punishment. So
That's it.
that's all I knew, right? And being a single mom, I I brought that approach to my parenting initially. But what I saw was that it was alienating JL because like when I did that, like that listen to me or you get in trouble, number one,
Right, right.
sends the message that when you don't obey me, you get separated from the one you love,
True.
number one,
That is true.
right?
Right.
And then she would be afraid to come to me when she did something wrong because she didn't want me to be angry with her. And I didn't
Okay.
want our relationship to be like that. I didn't want my daughter to fear me. So, what
Okay.
made the shift for me was this one revelation. And I learned this from my coach. It's that
Okay.
love is freedom, right?
Yes,
So,
that's true.
when we think about that in the context even of our relationship with God, God loves us, but he doesn't demand that we serve him, right?
That's true. That's right.
Even,
That's right.
even Joshua told the Israelites, choose ye this day who you will serve, right?
Who you will serve.
So
Right.
Jesus died on the cross for us, but he
Right.
doesn't demand that we receive him as Savior. He wants us to, but he
Right.
says, I'll knock at the door of your heart, but you have to choose to open it, right?
That's true.
So
Yes.
the principle is that love doesn't demand its own way. That's First Corinthians 13 and 5. So
Yes.
I
Yes.
made that shift because I wanted to be more relational with JL and I wanted to be that parent that showed her love so that she would come to me. So the
Ah,
story that I told on my page the other day, and this happened, this was probably actually just probably about last year. JL is a high school student. So last year she was in 10th grade. And
hmm,
I've always been very big on grades, right? Another thing that my mom put in me, she was like, you do good in school, you can do whatever. You don't do your
right.
schoolwork, you're in trouble. But you need to get good grades, right?
Right.
So you
Right.
can get into a good school, so you can get a good job, you can get
All of
scholarships,
that. Right.
all the
Right.
things. Okay, so this was my mentality. And so for I will honestly say in a transparent moment, I was parenting out of fear, right? I think,
Wow. Wow.
being a single mom, first of all, I never thought I'd be raising a child by myself, but
By yourself. Right. Right.
I feel like single moms go a little extra harder because it's just us and we want to make sure that our kids are good. So we might stay on top of them a little more, um, you know, than other people. So I was very much on top of her from a schoolwork perspective. Uh, she's always been a good student. She never really gave me a reason to doubt her, but I would be online because the parents can check in the portal. So I'm going in there a
Okay.
couple of times a week. I'm checking grades. I'm making sure, did she pass this test? Did she pass this quiz? You have a missing assignment. This is late. Okay, let me come ask you about it. So
Okay.
I was,
So I
mhm.
want to ask you, if she was doing what she's supposed to do, right? She was doing all of that she was supposed to do. Why were you still feeling the need to check? Even she's showing you, right? So what was that?
Again, that was just that fear in me that if I saw one
Okay,
little
that
thing
fear,
off,
right, right,
right? It's that
right.
fear of, okay, I don't want you to mess this up. Like, this is important. You need to keep these grades up, right? You don't
Okay.
have to get. So part of it is also probably me because I was a straight A student. I used to cry if I got B's. Now JL is different,
Wow.
right? And
Wow.
I put that pressure on myself, and it could have also been a little bit of me kind of just putting that pressure on her just to perform and make sure that you get the best grades possible,
Yeah.
because to
Yeah.
me this is what's going to secure your future. So you cannot do bad in school.
Got you.
And
Got
yeah, yeah,
Isn't that something, how the fear of how you grew up, you were now passing it along. I love her. She's doing great, but I just don't want her to fall behind and slack behind or anything like that. That's and once again, that's how we process, that's how we think. But
yeah,
you took another way, and that's the part I want to hear about. You took a different way.
yes. So what happened was, one day I was at it again. I had gone in there and saw something, and I'm like, okay, well, what about this assignment, or whatever I said. And she just got really frustrated, and she turned around and she said to me, why do you care about my grades more than you care about me?
Oh, wow.
And
Wow.
that cut
That's
me
woo.
deep. I was like, oh my gosh, like I didn't
Yeah.
realize that I was putting so much pressure on her to perform a certain way. I didn't
Wow.
realize that my micromanaging was actually not helping her, but it was actually hurting her. And for her
Hurting. Yeah.
to hear your child say that you care about grades, why do you care about grades more than you care about me?
Care about.
I'm like,
Mm.
oh, that hurt me to my heart,
Whoa.
right? So
Wow. Yeah.
I knew right then, I was like, okay, I have to make a change, because
Yes.
of course I love my daughter more than grades, but
Right.
that's not how I was coming across to her.
Right.
So
Right. Right.
I said, okay, I'm going to take my hands off. I said,
Okay.
I'm going to trust you to do your schoolwork, right? And that's a big word, trust. I said,
Trust.
I'm
Yes.
going to trust you to do what you're supposed to do, and just know, whatever, if you don't do what you're supposed to do, whatever those consequences are, you just have to deal with them. She said,
Got to
okay.
deal with them. Wow. 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 That hit me hard to even her even thinking that way. And like I said, once again, here's her generation and here's what she's thinking, the way she processes things. And now she has a voice and she can talk about that. And that hits hard because I think you mentioned something like imagine being micromanaged at work, right?
That's never fun. I don't enjoy
No.
micromanaging, because to me, again, that indicates that there's a lack of trust. If someone is
Yes.
micromanaging me
Yes.
and
Yes.
checking up behind me for every little thing, they don't really think
Yes.
that I'm going to do what I said I'm going to do.
Right, 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 right. Yeah. And so here's JL's generation, and I would talk about my children's generation when they were growing up to school. Um, we just waited for them to come home with the grades, and and me as a father, I was like, I know my girl's going to do what they're supposed to do. And
Mm-hmm.
I never had a problem because they had that self motivation to do it, and their mom, I guess, was the same way, but it's the generation change. I'm noticing that, how JL now speaks the truth on, hey, be more concerned about me than what I'm doing in school, which is so important. And that's probably a message that my kids probably wish they can say as well too. How often did we check on, or did I check on Tatiana and Asia and saying, how are you doing? It was always, how's school? Oh, everything's fine.
Right.
Everything's fine, but I never really said, "How are you guys doing? How are you
Mhm.
doing in school?" Now there were a couple of times, and Asia, that's my baby. Would pick her up from school, and one day, of course, the bullying thing, but Dad had to step up on that a couple of times. And
Yeah.
once I did, of course, that it stopped. But as far as just giving them that space, to have that free will to do what they're doing, I think it's an awesome job that you're doing. I love when I heard that. So when we talk about, we look at it as giving them space, and others may think of giving them privacy. I like how we call it giving them space, and
Yeah.
that's it. Privacy, when you're living in your parents' home, that word does not exist. So I'm just saying, I'll give you space. You let me know what you got going on, and we can talk about it. What time you're going to be home? No, I think you need to be home at this time. So it's it's that, and I don't. Have you ever had that conversation with JL on privacy space, or did she ever bring up that by any chance?
Well, I don't know that it was much of a conversation. What I would do
Okay.
with I would tell her, so I would do, you know, because we're living in a different day and our kids are
Yes.
always on the phone, right? It's the phone, it's the internet.
Always. Yes.
So
Yeah.
I would pop up and I'd be like, random phone check, hand it over.
Oh, okay. Okay.
That's that's what
She's
I
cool with
did.
that. She's okay with that?
No, she hated it every time.
I was
But
just wondering. I mean, I was like, are kids okay with that? Because I don't know. I could just
no,
see her face, like, really? Because you don't know, she doesn't know when it's coming,
you
so she
don't
don't
know
know
when it's
whether
gonna
to
happen.
delete or whatever. But,
Right. So, but okay, so let me give you a story about that. Quick
okay.
story. We'll jump
Yeah.
back.
You're
Um,
good. You're good.
so I did that one time, and again, this ties back to what I was talking about in the beginning. This was my more authoritative, do what I say
Okay.
kind of thing.
Okay.
That
Okay.
again made her afraid to tell me about things because she didn't want to make me upset. She thought I'd be angry at her.
Right.
So
Right.
another consequence of that is that sometimes she would lie to me because, again, she didn't want me to be angry. So I remember
Right.
one time I'm
Right.
like, random phone check, and her face, she's like, oh, here we go. I had asked her a
Yeah.
question and she gave me an answer. And after she gave me the answer, I knew she wasn't telling me the truth. As parents with the Holy Ghost, the Holy
Yes.
Ghost, you that discernment. The Holy Ghost said, ask for the phone. I said, I want to see the text
Ah,
messages. And as she hung her head, I said, I already knew. And she handed over the phone. I said to her, right, so this is again me shifting into being more relational, right?
yeah.
I looked
Okay.
at the text messages. I'm like, this is not what you told me. And she's
Right.
like, I know, but she was like, I was afraid that if you found out, you were going to be mad at me. I
Okay.
said, I'm looking at this now. I said, am I turning over tables? I said, am I yelling at
Right.
you? Did I raise my
Right.
voice? And she was
Right.
like,
Right. Right.
no. I said, okay.
Right.
I said, I don't
Right.
want you to be afraid of me. I said, I'm your mom. I love you and I'm on your team. I said,
Right.
regardless of what you do, right or wrong, I want to help you become the best person you can possibly be. I'm always going to guide
Okay.
you in the right direction. Right.
Right. Right.
So I said that to say, it's that how this is how I started building trust with her.
Okay. Good deal. Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
how I started building trust with her so we could get to the point where I could give her more space in other
Okay.
things. You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I had to work on, because I had again parented it one way for most of her life and that's all she knew. I had to work on getting her to trust me and getting her
Okay.
to see that I wasn't the mom that I used to be. I wasn't the mom that was going to fuss and punish her, you know. Now
Gotcha. Right.
I'm the mom that's saying, "Come to me so I can help you."
Yeah, 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 yeah. And I was just going to say, if they know we trust them, then they're more likely to come to us if they face any issues with stuff.
Yes.
It may not happen right away,
Right.
because they forget that we were once their age. So,
Right.
they're embarrassed. Oh my gosh, no, my mom, I can't believe, I don't want her to see anything like this. And they forget we were once there too. So,
Right.
and so education is fine, and teaching them about online safety and the boundaries. I know she has no problems with that, but it helps them to understand what to share and keep private. I know she's fine with that. And so yeah, I think this was good because um, we as parents, now me, grandparents, and I'm watching my grandbabies grow up and I'm watching JL grow up. And then Ava is the baby one. Oh my gosh, I don't know what she's
Mhm.
going to have to deal with when she gets to that JL age. I can't even imagine.
Whew.
So, but just being able to talk, being able to trust, being able to give that space, I think that is the main thing that's important to do. And for those listening that might be dealing or have dealt with situations like what we're talking about here, yeah, always look into counseling about it and always look for somebody to talk to about it, and this is the only way to really get a full understanding is just being able to talk about it and being able to express to everyone that hey, I'm dealing with this too, because counseling is always out there. I prefer, professional counselors than the school counselors. I just think the school counselors are so overwhelmed with
Mhm.
so many different kids. So just seeing a professional private counselor, I think would be helpful too if there's those concerns. And on anything you don't think you can handle, you always seek that professional counseling out. Like you said, building that bridge of trust, building it is so important, so that you can have a smoother transition walking as they become older. So these are great points, and it's all about empowering them to make smart choices. I would always say to my girls when they were in school, go to school, make smart choices, and don't make us look bad. And so that was the motto, for us. I said, don't make us look stupid, but I don't like using that word. So don't make us look bad. Go to school, do what you're supposed to, and don't make us look bad. Balancing online privacy is all about building that trust and encouraging an open dialogue.
Right.
I'm waiting so patiently for her to come to you one day and say, "Mom, can I talk to you about something that transpired?" That would probably blow my mind that she came to you instead of you going to her, say, "Let me check." So I think it's going to happen. I think it's going to happen. So that is something phenomenal. Like I said, we just came here tonight to just really talk about some matters about children, and those of you who children are now grown and you may have some grandchildren, or may not be even a parent, but people who are parent. You may be an auntie, uncle, whatever, but just knowing some basic foundations on how to step into out of our generation into their generation and seeing it from a bigger perspective is what was the whole purpose of this podcast tonight. I just want to remind everybody again, thank you, first of all, for supporting the podcast. But just remember to go on to Embrace It Community Podcast and just follow me. And I would appreciate if you do that. Also, I mentioned earlier about the T-shirt. I have the cap and I have the mug. Brian, I want you to get a mug or a T-shirt, something like that, so you can represent too, take a picture with it, and just support it. I put a link in there, and I just want I just thank everybody for supporting. So let's keep embracing the journey as parenting and digital world. Anna, if you want to tell people how you can be reached, if you want them to, because I enjoy watching you. You want to share how to reach you on
Sure.
social
Thank
media?
you.
Hmm.
Absolutely. On Facebook, it's Brianna Charlton, just as you see it there on the screen. And on
Right. Gotcha.
Instagram, it is at Ms. Brianna Charlton, all one word. I usually post
Okay.
things a couple of times a week. So. Thank you.
Yeah. No, that's when I find you on there as well. I just saw a good friend of mine jump on from public school. Faye Armstead, we went to public school, PS 67 in Brooklyn. She jumped on. And so this it's just amazing to still be in touch with somebody from back in the day now that we're in the older age. And so, Faye, thank you for joining in. But you can go back and watch it. But Brianna, my sister in love you so much. Thank you for joining. Thank you for
Love you too.
sharing. Thank you for being transparent. And it's all about helping and healing the community if we still can reach out and touch our young people. I know there are probably so many kids wish they had an avenue like this, and who knows? This might. I want my niece to put it on her. Well, she ain't gonna do it. I'm not putting anything on from Uncle Vincent. I can barely get my kids to come on, but I'm just saying, if we don't know, we can share it. Let's share this, and then we'll probably get more topics. And people want to talk about some more stuff, or somebody might tell us, hey, can you guys talk about how to do A, B, and C? So be ready, Brianna. It might happen again. But thank you. Thank you so much for joining in. Hey, I
Yeah.
want to thank everybody again, for joining in. This was really good. Thank y'all so much for coming in. If you have any questions, concerns, or comments, please drop a message in the chat. I'll get back to you. Don't forget to go over to the page. It's called Embrace It in the Community Podcast. And I'm just trying to build up my followers so I can start shooting from that page. Meta has rules and regulations and stuff like that. So I need your support. I need you. You need me. We're all a part of God's body. All right. So until next time, thank you all for joining and keep embracing the community. Keep doing it. Keep doing it. Love you all. Love you, sis. Thank
Love
you.
you too. Thank you.
All right.